Welcome to the channel, Gate to Babylon, the gate to everything. Greetings, this is Ali. So today we're talking about Afghanistan. We're talking about today's Taliban, and at the same time a reply to MT Sengupta. Anyway, you're gonna see it in the edit on your screen. So let's get into it.
And how do you feel about collaborating with the enemy when they have carried out such atrocities against UK military personnel over the years?
I think you have to be very careful using the word enemy. I think people need to understand who the Taliban actually are. And of course, what they are a disparate collection of tribespeople. As President Karzai put it to me only yesterday, they're country boys. And the plain fact is that they happen to live by a code of honour and a standard.
We can't support the way that they treat women, surely.
Well, I think you have to listen to what they're saying at the moment, and I think you have to listen to the facts on the ground.
They're saying they are definitely, law.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's anything that you and I would approve of particularly.
I'm just clarifying that.
Absolutely, but I do think that they have changed. I think they recognise that over the course of the last 20 years, Afghanistan has evolved.
So, as all of you know, Taliban have been able to take over the government in Afghanistan, and they seized power fully, and most likely any resistance would be meaningless, totally. Most likely there wouldn't be even a civil war. They fully control the government, and they are the main power outside of the government. So and they have now access to all the U.S. weaponry that was given to Afghani military. So it's a GG at this point. All of you know that. So this section here is just a little bit of general talk about it before beginning to the main meal of this video. So most people like talking about Taliban. So what's next? Like the Taliban, what they're gonna do, what's gonna happen, and everybody just goes directly to 20 years ago and who they were at the time, basically what their fathers have been doing or their grandfathers used to do, and projecting that on today. Of course, especially when you're talking about the Afghanis there, they don't want to risk it. It's better to be safe than sorry, you know. But there's a lot of logical stuff to talk here about. So what else? So we shouldn't take this emotionally, and nothing gonna go crazy right away. All right. So, and most of the talks out there about what Taliban gonna do, all the crazy stuff that people talk about, that's not gonna happen, or at least very most likely most of it is not gonna happen, because it's very much gonna destroy without foreign intervention. Doing some of the stuff that people talk about would really destroy the authority within the country, the stability, and they wouldn't be able to build the economy. And one of the big points they really want is building economy, getting money, and they want China to get in, because the West most likely wouldn't do any business with them, but China would. But at the same time, it have to be safe, it have to be controlled, it have to be, good, so investment can be done, so they build the country so they become more powerful. They understand that. Look at Smile to Jannah video. I will put a link in the description, and to the end of the video you will see the title and the things on your screen in the edit. Hopefully I will add that. So look at these videos, watch this video and other free videos. You will see the title and thumbnail on the screen, and you will understand what's going on, what's gonna going on, what's most likely, most logical thing, and what is the real picture on the ground in Afghanistan. My friend showed me the video, and and I looked at the video. I played the video and listened to it, and it was very interesting, and there's a lot of things to talk about in that video. The video that I saw, and And when I looked to his previous video, I checked the previous video about this, and he got like everything wrong in that video. Everything wrong because the video previously he just made a prediction, and the predictions were completely crashed. And then the other video, he seems to be like angry from that. He has a lot of biases and very obvious biases, extra all that stuff. He mixed a lot of stuff. He got a lot of stuff wrong. He added a lot of misconceptions, misinformation, manipulation. There's about like 8 or 9 of those in the video, and then there's the most important part in this video and all is my friend allowed me to read his comments because he wrote a comments, and these comments will make this video very quick and precise. I agree with with his comments 95%. Yeah, my friend just did a decent good comment to this video, and very much read this comment very quickly and talk a little bit about it. If you look for a minute for this guy's video, he titled it as Post-Taliban Takeover Thoughts. Then what is next for Pakistan? Don't you see that this title is very flawed? And the guy is, from what I heard and from the previous videos and from when I showed it to my Pakistani and Indian friends, and and other stuff like that, it's very obvious that he is Indian and not Muslim too. And you see here, the title, what is Post-Taliban takeover thoughts? What is next for Pakistan? You see, like, why would we put what is next for Pakistan? He's like making, you know what I mean? Like, he's making a lot of clash claims and stuff like that. Like, he wants the Taliban to go over Pakistan, and he talked about it that Taliban will want Pakistan and will want to take over Pakistan for something like that, and we're gonna talk about that too. But yeah, his video's full of biases. Like, even if you just look at the title, it's very obvious. It's okay. So let's continue. Let's get to the comments. You will understand it. So now we're gonna read the comment, and it's very much video the main part. So my friend, his name tag on YouTube is Ellie Diablo because his name is Ellie and he loves the game Diablo. You know, it's very famous PC game. So let's get to the comments. Let's read it. I will show big part of it on the screen. So yeah, let's go. It is not the West that decides what is radical / extreme in Islam. We Muslim and Islam itself decides that. Who decided that? Prophet Muhammad himself warned about extremism. We know what it is extreme. The West very much wanna to make all Islam labeled as extreme as it does not fit them. How do you know what is extreme and what is not? You see over here, the the D in do is F, not D is like that's what do you call it? Mistype error, you know, misclick on the keyboard. I think he did it on his phone, but anyway, you know that when you type too fast. So yeah, what is your criteria from Islam for itself, or your criteria is the West? So let's read that part from the beginning. How do you know what is extreme and what is not? What is your criteria? That's for the extreme. From Islam itself, or your criteria is the West. There is no random. So that's like the next paragraph. There is no random killing if they are criminals or traitors or resistors dangerous individual, then they would be killed. It is justice and fair logic. Stop being illogically emotional. But I don't agree with Taliban. The same here. I don't agree with Taliban. Nobody agrees with Taliban 100%. Of course, they do certain things right. They do certain other things wrong. Most stuff wrong. We don't know for right now what they're gonna do. We haven't seen much from them yet. So that's the thing. However, let's go. So yeah, but I don't agree with the Taliban. We see that what they would do next. You forgot to mention that they have China support and Pakistan is with China too. So in brackets, China will have to help with leading and organizing. Close bracket, full stop. So in terms of being so-called animal, because he called them animals, the Taliban, and because they are animals, they cannot what I call it, lead the country, so forth, or whatnot. So in terms of being so-called animal, the Mongols were a million times worse and ruled all of Asia except for Japan and India. In brackets, and Malay area. Malay is like Malaysia area, the Malay that speaks Malay area. But at the time, nobody cares. So the Malay area, like nobody cares for it. For 200 years, and then for 200 years, like the rule of the Mongols, and then the Mughal/Mongol, which is Mughal is the Indian word for Mongol Empire Sultanate, ruled India for 800 plus years successfully and made it united and much richer. Next next sentence. The people are running away because they don't understand the new Taliban. So in brackets, it seems they have changed, and this is a new generation with less extremist, more moderate real Islam. Of course, we're not sure 100%, but definitely they changed. They're towards moderate real Islam more than they used to be, but they still not quite close there. As I said, I agree 95% with my friend. He has certain errors there and there, like not 100% accurate, but what do you expect? He's typing it really quick. So like they are better than before, but still they're not exactly how they should be. Moderate Islam, we hope, it seems. Yeah, it's most likely seem, we don't know 100% yet, but most likely, logically speaking. So let's continue. Because they are not sure changed or not. But I think they have changed, and I think too. They have more experience now. Humans are humans. Nobody is an animal. If you are a Darwinist, then calling them animals has no meaning. Calling a human an animal would make you an animal. They are not animals. If you're talking about animal behaviors, then the West, since the Spanish and Portugal empires to the day, are the biggest animals in history. But nobody yet in Muslim world call them animals because they are humans too. So yeah, that's a really fair point. So this is like talking about his logic and the stuff, and if you think about it, it's like this: the West is not animal; they're human, as we said. But the West, many of their leaders, certain generals, have done like ton of bad stuff. And there's some bad people in the West, like Stalin, and Napoleon Bonaparte, you have Hitler. So like there's multiple bad individuals or whatnot, colonists, and there's the white supremacists extra. But let's continue. So where was that? Because there are humans too. I don't agree with Taliban. Me too. I don't. Almost don't agree with Taliban, and we are both looking what they would do. But I don't agree with you too. So yeah, that's the main point. Calling them animals is basically saying it is okay to be genocide. You're the animal here. To be clear, I don't agree with you with how Taliban implement Islam, but I don't agree to calling them animals too much. They're still human beings. They would not kill anybody because they want to in the street, and they don't lie. There's something I am sure 100% about Taliban. They don't lie. They implement Islam to a certain degree at an okay level, and one of those basics is justice and no killing innocent civilians. Are you dumb? The rest of your talk is okay, but we see next is last time all your words were wrong. Lol. If Taliban takes over Pakistan, that is even more perfect, so they can next take over Central Asia and make themselves power, which China would love. So yeah, his video has too many errors mixed with general facts. Afghani Taliban is not the same with Pakistani Taliban. They literally used to kill each other. Yeah, in the video, he said, nah, you don't need to learn the differences between certain groups or not. They're all, they're all terrorists, they're all extremists, extra. In fact, Afghani Taliban and Pakistani Taliban, they hate each other. They're not the same. It's like a green and a red apples. They don't taste the same, right? You know what I mean? So this is like my friend's comments, basically. And in the last part of it here, when he said if Taliban takes over Pakistan, that is even more perfect. This is just mainly for this guy video, to comment on him, because he talked, as I said in the title, what's next for Pakistan. He said Taliban would take over Pakistan or whatnot. I just want to add a little bit there that Afghanistan is not gonna attack Pakistan. There's China there, and China wouldn't allow that to happen and whatnot. Plus, like, if Afghanistan, if Taliban right now has certain problem with Pakistan, they would talk to China and China would talk to Pakistan. They will make like deals and agreements and whatnot. Plus, if China said to Pakistan, listen to Afghanistan, Pakistan will listen to Afghanistan. So what I mean is, even if Afghanistan or Taliban wants to take over Pakistan, it will be done politically and economically, not with military action. So the Taliban can take over Pakistan, using like half of Pakistan is actually with it's a Pashto, and can like through socially and economically, plus politically, can indirectly control the Pakistani government if they wanted to, but it's totally not necessary. And he talked like a lot of like bullshit in that regard in his video. Now let's get to the next point, and I want to talk about certain things. Like now, if we finished my friend's comments, now I want to talk about my own additional words to add this, and that is, let's see over here. Everyone is talking about Taliban as if they are the same in 2001 or 90s. They're not the same. They're different. Not completely different, but rather much better than used to be. Of course, this is mostly assumptions, but they definitely 100% quite different than they used to be. It's a new generation of that stuff. 20 years ago, like, come on, man. Come on, people. Of course, we're gonna talk about that, but just listen for a minute. There's a lot of biases, lies, and misinformation UK House of Parliament debate live now. And you know, the debate in the House of Parliament in the UK, I listened to that for most of it, and it's like full of lies. Of course, not everything is a lie. When I say full of lies, 50% basically. Like every like 2-3 sentences is a sentence which is like a misinformation, or like 50-50, or it's a completely lie, or it's like not complete. But let's continue. There's no attacks to the west or anywhere would come from Afghanistan. They are not stupid. Also, they did not agree to 9/11 to begin with. Al-Qaeda is no longer relevant and not associated with Taliban since 2003. And that is 100% true. First, the one that made 9/11 is Al-Qaeda. And actually, Osama bin Laden didn't know about the attack. Like, the people that are underneath Osama bin Laden just did it by themselves without telling Osama, because they thought it is cool. And on top of that, there's other people that were higher level in Al-Qaeda at the time than Osama bin Laden as well. And on top of that, after 9/11, actually Osama bin Laden was relevant to Al-Qaeda, but just a symbol. And that's why Al-Qaeda continued even after he died. Like, he wasn't the leader whatsoever when he died. Even after 9/11, he wasn't the leader of Al-Qaeda to begin with. And Al-Qaeda that did 9/11, yes, they were shut up by Taliban, but it's most like friend ties thing, plus it was very quick. Like, even Taliban wasn't expecting 9/11. They didn't know about it. And so let's continue. About the people in airport in Afghanistan, there's at least 10% trying to give their own time, like chance, to leave the country for free and give financial support from governments for free as they are refugees. Because whether Taliban or not, it will take at least 5 years to get the economy going, if not 8 or 10 years. Very little are in the airport, and 10 times more than that are moving in Afghanistan from Pakistan. I think economical reason has to do with this too, especially after a few days now. Maybe more people are going to jump into this for economical reasons, especially men. Also, most of the people are leaving are single men. A lot of those whom left already are part of the corrupt government. So yeah, of course, I'm not generalizing here. I mean, a big portion, but not the majority. Perhaps like 40%, 50%, 20%, something like that. And the people are leaving from Afghanistan are like 10-20,000 foreigners and like 80,000 Afghanis. Like, very little. Afghanistan has like millions of people. There's different, like at least 100,000 or so people that can pay for living there, but they don't want to leave. There's a lot of people that don't want to leave. There's a lot of people are agree with Taliban, or agree to a certain extent. There's a lot of people that can argue with Taliban and deliver their points and talk to them. There's, of course, a lot of the ones that are leaving, they have certain problems with the Taliban. Plus, the previous government is corrupt and whatnot. And let's continue. So, just to be clear, no attacks from Afghanistan is coming at all. First, they didn't agree or approve for 9/11, and the Taliban did not do it themselves. They promised and agreed in an agreement with the current US air military and government to not make terrorist attacks on 9/11 plus no support for other groups. So no attacks coming from Afghanistan. To be clear, I don't support or agree with the Taliban, but there is no need for false information, lies and misunderstanding by assumptions. There is no other 9/11. Taliban have changed. It has been 20 years. It is different, a new generation in charge. They reformed themselves and lowered their extremism. Taliban Afghanistan is no longer like 2001 or 90. It has been 20 years. It is dumb to assume they are just the same. They had experience and they are more aware of the world. They are not dumb to make another 9/11 or break their promise agreement with the USA President Biden. The freedom fighters are the Taliban. Nobody can say that the previous government was not corrupt and injustice, was it? Yeah, it was corrupt and full of injustice. For a Western perspective, there is nothing to fear whatsoever. Another 9/11 would not come from Afghanistan by any means. They are not dumb to make a legitimate reason for US to come back. They are playing this accurately on the world stage. Political stage politics. Those leaders who can do this are not dumb. There is one thing about that we are sure about the Taliban: they don't lie or break promises or agreements. It goes against their teachings, but rather sometimes our leaders in the West directly and openly do, like iconically George W. Bush. There is no concerns. The people in Afghanistan, many of them running away because from them thinking it is better to be safe than sorry. However, there is nothing to run for if you have not been corrupt. 9/11 attack is so stupid, and actually Osama bin Laden didn't order it, but others did in his name because they thought it is cool. Also, that was Al-Qaeda, not Taliban. Taliban protected Al-Qaeda because of friendship, and they were under their protection, so they didn't want to betray them, but they don't agree with them, especially about 9/11. 9/11 and other terrorist attacks are stupid and condemnable by Islam itself, as it kills civilians, but for extremists they say there is no civilians in the West. However, that changed also they have learned. Extra. So it's very important to understand this point. It's very condemnable by Islam to kill civilians. However, for extremists, they say there's no civilians. So that's the point that the terrorists make. However, that is changing. It's very stupid. Anybody who says that, they don't understand the West. But however, that thing changed, especially with the internet. All that stuff that's going on since 2001, where we are. However, it is mostly civilians that care about not getting attacked. George Bush know about the attack, but let it happen to use it as an excuse. Also, all the attacks combined, including 9/11, killed less than 50k since it began to the day. At the time, 9/11 killed 3k and less than 10k around the world from other attacks before, while USA killed near 200k Afghani and 3 million plus Iraqi civilians numbers only. This is civilian number. For 3k USA citizens, that's more stupid and extreme, don't you think? Compare the numbers. For 3k USA citizens, 200 plus K Afghanis, and 3M, big fat M million Iraqis. At the time, at 2003, there was 52 million Iraqis, and killing 3 million, it's mostly men. So a lot of women didn't have husbands, there's a lot of widows, there's a lot of children, their childhood fucked up, So this is more stupid and extreme, don't you think? So next, government of the West don't really care what you care that much. If you are a Westerner, just think about it. Does the government care about what you care exactly? Of course they care to a certain extent, but do they care as much as you care? Attacks and anger from extremists doesn't come from nowhere. 9/11 didn't come from a vacuum. Didn't just certain crazy extremist terrorists are thinking it is cool to do it, and just because it is cool, just because they can, just because they are terrorists and extremists and bad people and they are monsters, doesn't mean they gonna do it. You know what I mean? They had reasons behind it, political, economical, social reasons to do it. It because of certain things your government would do. Of course, what government do doesn't mean what people do. Extra. I live in the West. I understand that. Most of the times, even people can't do shit to their government. So you know what I mean. So let's continue. Like, it doesn't come from nowhere. 9/11 wasn't like, oh, we were attacked. We are the victims. USA wasn't the victim. There's a lot of, like, USA is a victim. Civilians of the United States are a victim to a certain extent, but in the same time, USA has a lot of victims on its hands before 9/11. So are they being extreme with that? For instance, look at France. Donald Trump / the white supremacists, racist people and other racism issues. Also, they supported India without any talks, even though they are committing racist, Islamophobic attacks and crimes against 200 million Muslims in India on a state prejudice terrorism level. Look at supporting Israel. So next paragraph. You something and the government, unfortunately, and some other people are something else. Bro, this is very important point to consider when you're talking about these type of topics. Unfortunately, that's the freaking reality. What do they gain by lying after gaining power, authority of the country? Do you think the leaders whom did all this intelligent political initiative and concentrating a deal with USA are dumb? Do you think else? Do you think go back a little bit? Doing anything else other than what they have promised is dumb. They're not dumb. At least the leaders are. The leaders are not dumb, so that's we're pretty sure about that. Check the other recommended videos. Yeah, check, guys, the other recommended videos. I'll just show the thumbnails and titles will slide it up one by one. So this is some of the stuff I have written. So next paragraph. I'm not with the Taliban, but they are now in a power and they are more fair than a corrupt government. And most importantly, they seem they have changed. They're not the same as in 2001 or 90s. No attacks coming from Afghanistan to the west or terrorism. That's parts of the deal they made with Joe Biden. And doing anything wise would destroy everything that we're doing in the past 20 years, plus the success they had just in this year in 2021. Like, they're not stupid, especially they have learned from the mistakes of the past that their fathers and grandfathers have already done. So let's go to the next paragraph. Let's look at the facts on the ground now in 2021. They are in power now. So what is next? Why would they lie? Lying and torture plus other terrorist image people have in their mind goes against what Taliban stands for in their own mind. So what people think about Taliban, most of it actually goes against the teachings of Taliban and what they think about themselves as a Talibani. They wouldn't torture and they wouldn't rape or that bad thing people think about. It just goes against what they stand for. That's what their enemies does. You know what I mean? Like, not in the United States. It's like what certain Australian soldiers have done, and it is what the Mujahideen warlords were doing, which fought with the United States against the Taliban. And the United States funded these criminal warlords, whom most of them fought against the bad amongst them and the good amongst them fought against the Soviet Union. These warlords are the bad guy that you're talking about, not the Taliban. Of course, Taliban to a certain degree is the bad guy. Everybody is the bad guy, unfortunately, in this situation, but the Taliban is the most good guy. They have certain bad stuff, but all these bad image that people have in mind, it's more about the bad warlord Mujahideen, not the Taliban. So let's continue where we were. So let's continue. If they do, they would contradict themselves. They're not as bad as the media says. They are bad to some extent. They are a bit itchy. I don't agree with them. I don't support them. But they are in power now, and we need to listen to them and look at the facts on the ground. Why would they lie about their own words? You know what I mean? Doing anything otherwise would only harm Afghanistan and further not help them. So next paragraph. Many people mix extremism with normal modest Islam. Islam decides on what is extreme or what is not. Non-extreme Muslims are not a copy-paste of Western culture with a Muslim vibe look at mixed in. The difference in size between moderate Muslim and an extremist arrogance is a little in points number, but with few significant ones. The rest everyone on both sides agrees to with equal evidence. Next, Taliban and non-Taliban in Afghanistan are generally, especially from an outsider point of view, they are essentially the same if you are surprised. Generalizing Taliban is generalizing Afghanistan people, especially Pashto. The difference in belief and practice is very little, however significant little in value that makes up the change. But it is not much in numbers percentage overall, for those racists might say, just nuke Afghanistan, man. The people whom you're trying to save are not really that much difference in comparison to what people in the West think than to Taliban. There is more to say, but let's leave it for other videos. Time of the video, let's continue. So yeah, you know the time of video. This section here is quite long, so we need to wrap up this video very quick. So next point. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button and all these YouTube stuff, and of course leave a comment. What do you think? And let's get to a discussion. Like correct me, whatever you think. Like just type something in the comments, man. And yeah, just share the video if you liked it, and hopefully you love this video and share it around, get it to other people and all this YouTube stuff. And yeah.
Yes, you know the story. And I am not afraid to tell it while others are afraid. I've never been afraid to tell it. That there are three kinds of lies. You know it. There are normal lies, and then there are great lies, and then there is 9/11. So they invaded Afghanistan with a mountain of a lie in order to be able to pursue a political agenda. And 20 years later, they have to withdraw in failure.